Hey guys, Foxdrop here. So it's been a while since I've done a top junglers video. I don't really like doing them too frequently, not until there have been some significant changes in what the best junglers are. And I feel like we're at that point right now, so I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Just going to say, thanks for checking the video out, and I hope you are having a great day. But with that out of the way, let's get cracking with the list. And just for some clarification, this is a list of junglers that are, in my opinion, objectively the strongest in the game right now, but that doesn't mean that you have to play them. If you're not playing them, you're not screwing yourself over. And as always with these kind of lists, guys, if you prefer to play different champions, you'll have better results, in my opinion, if you pick your favorite and you just stick to that champion. So number 5 on this list, it is Warwick. For me, I feel like Warwick is a champion whose biggest strength comes from just how easy and non-punishing he is to play. For this reason, I feel like Warwick is exceptional in lower elo, but the fact that he's on this list means that he's actually just objectively really strong as well. Warwick actually brings quite a lot to the table as well. He's ridiculously tanky, his jungle clears are fine, his dueling against other junglers is pretty good too. Really, his only biggest downfall is the fact that his early game pressure isn't that great, but it's still pretty decent. Like, you can certainly get stuff going on Warwick in the early game, just not really where he shines, in my opinion. I'd also argue that Warwick is the poster boy for someone that just doesn't die and does ridiculous amounts of damage. Personally speaking as well, Warwick is my D-tilt champion. If I'm ever on a losing streak or I'm not really feeling particularly confident with how I'm playing, I'll just pick Warwick because you don't really need a brain or arms to play this guy, so it's pretty good when you're tilted. Number 4 on this list, we have probably the best early game ganker in the game, Elise. It's been a while since Elise has been considered top tier. People like Lee Sin and Graves have really taken her place this season, but those champions keep getting nerfed, and when that happens, the other champions that I've got left behind previously start crawling out of the woodwork a little bit. And that's pretty much what we're seeing with the resurgence of the Spider Queen. Like I said, I think she's the strongest early game ganker in the game, specifically pre-level 6 after she hits level 3. The fact that she is somewhat unique in her ability to shapeshift means that in the very early game she has access to a wider ability pool. And considering all of these abilities help you fight people, they all help you gank, that's pretty bloody good. Having a ranged hard CC, having a lot of burst, having decent sustain damage, and of course having a gap closer as well. Nice combination for killing enemy players. The only major downside to Elise is that she's kind of difficult to play, especially compared to the other champions on this list. And on top of that as well, if you don't get things going in the early game, then you're going to be in a bit of a pickle. She's not so strong mid to late, especially if you struggled early on. But if you do like having a really aggressive early style, if you like trying to snowball lanes and gank heavy, Elise is a really solid choice. Coming in at number 3, the third best champion right now for League of Legends solo queue, Ivern. Quite an annoying little bugger to play against is Ivern. He did get nerfed a little while back, which is, quite nice. However, he's still Ivern. Ivern has a really annoying ability to just run into your jungle and take things without really having any counterplay to it. His ganks as well are pretty solid, so his overall early game impact can be relatively high, but where he really shines is denying the enemy jungler and gaining an advantage over him. If you're a jungle main and you've ever played versus Ivern, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about, but he's also the king of inducing tilt. It is really frustrating to play versus Ivern in solo queue, and if you're the one playing him, that can work in your favor. What's funny about Ivern though, and this is why I quite like playing him, is that you don't really need to do anything in the early game. Yeah, he's really strong in that early game, and he does have an incredible amount of potential to put the enemy jungler behind. But even if you don't get stuff going, you can kind of play a more standard playstyle on Ivern, and whereas I would argue it's not, fully optimal, you don't have to do stuff because you're basically just another support in the jungle. So for me, similar to with Warwick, if my brain's switched off, I'm kind of tilted, or I don't feel like I'm playing very well, I can pick up Ivern because even if I don't have the best game, I don't have to carry. I can just play around my team's carries, protect them, and they can carry. However, having said that, it really just depends on your playstyle. If you don't like having that more supporty role, Ivern probably won't be for you. And before we move on to the penultimate choice for this list, I just want to thank you guys again for checking the video out. Also to remind you that I stream 4 times a week over at twitch.tv/Foxdrop. If you want to see me playing live, being as educational as I can, and feeding my ass off, go and hit me with a follow. Twitch.tv/Foxdrop is where you'll find me. I'll put a link to it down below in the description though, in case you're feeling lazy, which let's be honest, we all are. Coming in at number 2 on this list, someone who is almost as frustrating to play against as Ivern, the old school Ivern, if you will, Nunu. Pretty much everything that I said about Ivern can be said about Nunu as well, but just kind of slightly different from a mechanical standpoint. They're both predominantly supporty style junglers, they both function best when they are denying the enemy jungler, and they also can have decent early game impact as far as ganks go. You know, nothing amazing, but pretty decent still. Nunu on the other hand is a little more on the tanky side of things than Ivern is. I really don't think I need to say anything else about him, because you can genuinely just like rewind to the Ivern section and just like pretend that I'm saying Nunu instead of Ivern, and it pretty much is the same shit. So I guess that means we can skip straight on to number 1, Zac. Now, if you remember, Zac recently got reworked, and for a little period of time, he was absolutely garbage. I'm talking like 40% win rate garbage, like absolutely terrible. By far the worst meta jungler in the game. And then Riot changed him a little bit. And when I say changed him a little bit, I mean took actions that led us to the point where I am now doing a top 5 jungler video, and Zac is number 1. Now, historically speaking, Zac has always been a good, solid solo queue champion. He was very tanky, which meant he wasn't very punishing and could scale later on and be useful in team fights. He also brings a very unique but extremely effective style of ganking to the table as well, being able to jump in from absolutely miles away. And the later the game goes on, this transitions into being able to initiate team fights, which is quite good in solo queue. You know, you can pick the fights you want to pick and avoid losing fights. And Zac can still do all of those things, but with extra on top as well. If you can get your hands on Zac, I definitely recommend playing him, but he is currently the most banned champion in the game, so good luck with that. But I think that's all I want to say for this video, boys and girls. I hope you liked it. If you did, feel free to give me a cheeky thumbs up. I'm just going to pick Shad up here because he's walking around and making a lot of noise. Isn't it, Shaddy? If you liked it so much that you want to see more of me, do hit the subscribe button as well. We'd love to see you around here more often. And yeah, you can find me on Facebook, on Twitter, and catch me streaming at twitch.tv/Foxdrop. All those links are down below in the description, boys and girls. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you in my next.